Rahul Gandhi's maiden speech to industry captains dealt with inclusiveness and was replete with emotion, but critics say Rahul didn't offer solutions. Whose idea of India is more compelling, Namo's or Raga's? We're going to get into the center stage face-off, but before that, just on some key and broad parameters, I want you to listen to both these gentlemen, Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi, giving out their idea of India, and then we'll debate whose vision is more compelling.
कोई कहता है 21वीं सदी चाइना की सदी या हिंदुस्तान की सदी, ये चर्चा चल रही है। हमारे पास दो चीजें ऐसी हैं जिसको लेकर के चाइना के कंपैरिजन में हम दुनिया के सामने एक ताकत बनकर के उभर सकते हैं। एक डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड, 65% जनसंख्या इस देश की 35 से कम आयु की है, नौजवानों का देश है। हमारी ये सोच होनी चाहिए कि हमारे पास डेमोक्रेसी का भी एक डिविडेंड है।
You see, this is how China applies power. When I apply power like this, he feels it. He understands it. And he says, hey, you're holding my hand. You're pressing me down. Now, this is how India applies power. Hold this.
Very true. Very true.
Right? Now, she looked at me and she was like, she actually saw it, she realized it. We are actually much more powerful than we think.
विकास ही सभी समस्याओं का समाधान है दोस्तों, ये मेरा कन्विक्शन है। गुड गवर्नेंस एंड डेवलपमेंट, ये कंबाइंड चलना चाहिए। आपके पास पैसे हैं, बस स्टेशन बना दिया, इससे काम होने वाला नहीं है। वहां का कंडक्टर नागरिकों के साथ कैसा बिहेव करता है, बस टाइम पे आती है कि नहीं आती है, ये गुड गवर्नेंस से पता चलता है।
Anger, hatred and prejudice do not contribute to growth. Do not underestimate the benefits of harmony. When you play the politics of alienating communities, you stop the flow of movement of people and ideas. And when that happens, we all suffer. Businesses suffer, the seeds of disharmony are sown, and the dreams of our people are severely disrupted. Once begun, this damage takes a very long time to reverse. It is very dangerous to leave people behind. Inclusive growth is a win-win for everybody.
क्या आपको इस बात की खुशी नहीं होनी चाहिए कि इस देश में एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी है जिसका अपना कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन सेटअप है, निर्णय की प्रक्रियाएं हैं, और इतने सारे माहौल के बीच भी अपने सारे रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन का पालन करते हुए डेमोक्रेटिक वे में एक पार्टी चल रही है? यह आनंद का विषय नहीं है। आनंद होना चाहिए भैया कि यस, दिस इज द वे। ये परिवार के अंदर तय नहीं होता है। आनंद होना चाहिए आपको यार।
I got press guys asking me, when you're getting married. Somebody else saying, boss, when you're going to be PM. Somebody saying, no, you're not going to be PM. Somebody saying, maybe you will be PM. There's a good possibility. It's like the American polling charts. You know, this is looking at a 47.3% possibility that he might be PM. These are all irrelevant questions. It's all smoke. The only relevant question in this country is, how can we give our people voice? That's it.
Opinion is sharply divided over Rahul Gandhi's speech. He enumerated various problems, but critics are saying he failed to outline solutions. Joining us on the center stage face-off this evening is Naveen Jindal, Lok Sabha Member of Parliament of the Congress Party, also a well-known industrialist. Representing the BJP tonight, Smriti Irani. With me in the studio this time, one of India's foremost political commentators, Veer Sanghvi. I want to go across first Naveen Jindal. He outlined at great length the problems that the Indian system faces. He failed to outline solutions to those problems. People know the problems, they are frustrated by the problems. They were expecting, like Narendra Modi outlined his vision, his solution to the problems. Rahul Gandhi didn't give us any solutions. Naveen.
Well, Rahul, I would not say that he did not give any solutions. He did say that these are the challenges facing the economy, and he did offer solutions also. And he did say that no one person can have all the solutions. So don't expect me to have all the solutions. Neither can anybody else deliver all the solutions. We have to empower the masses. We have to empower the people of our country if we really want to go ahead. And solution, because people on the ground, they know what they need. He spoke about the pradhan of the villages. So he said if they are empowered, they can find their own solutions. He said that the industry must have a institutional mechanism to interact with the government. Similarly, in the field of education, educationists, people who have a say in the education, they must be involved with the decision making. So I think he offered a whole lot of solutions, and not for a particular thing, but overall that we have to empower people. We all have to work together, and don't just depend that one person has solutions for everything.
He took several pot shots, Smriti, at Narendra Modi. He said, there's no one man who'll come riding a horse and solve the problems in the way that Narendra Modi is projecting. He says, India is a complex country. There are no easy solutions. Constantly taking pot shots at what Narendra Modi has been saying.
I don't think he has the ability to articulate even a single pot shot against the Gujarat Chief Minister. But I will take off from what Mr. Jindal said in his opening remarks. Mr. Jindal highlighted the fact that Rahul Gandhi wants pradhans in panchayats to be empowered. The question that I seek to ask tonight is that why is it that the 73rd Amendment is not still implemented in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, where sarpanchas are being killed after declarations made by militant outfits like LET? Why is it that Rahul Gandhi, who feels so much for sarpanchas and pradhan, is not able to provide them protection? Secondly, I think that Mr. Jindal highlighted the fact that he came there and offered solutions. Well, I distinctly remember a question asked about water, which went totally unanswered. I distinctly remember that the one definite phrase that everybody heard in that speech consistently was, don't come to me for answers, empower people. Well, I think this particular speech needs to serve as a reminder to congressmen that in a democracy the people are already empowered, and through that empowerment they vote a government into existence which is supposed to fulfill their needs, which is supposed to facilitate their vision, and supposed to facilitate progress. Now Rahul Gandhi goes to the CII, and one of the burning challenges that the industry faces today in our country goes is totally neglected. What is that challenge today? 80% of projects in our industry today are in the cold storage. Why? Because of policy paralysis. And what is the response that Rahul Gandhi has? Don't look at me for solutions. Don't expect anything out of Manmohan Singh. Don't even think Montek can do anything about it. Now, is this why this government was voted into power?
Okay.
That the vice president of the Congress party can come to a platform like this and tell the same people who voted this government into power, well, if you're looking for solution, we are not the people.
Is it
and
a
he
fair
tries to take a
assessment,
dig
Veer Sanghvi, to
about
say
a man on a horse coming and providing solutions?
that Narendra Modi
Rahul, let me answer
gives
that
solutions?
phrase as well.
Yes, I'm coming to you.
Let me
You've
answer
said
that phrase as well.
Okay, finish your argument.
Rahul, allow me to answer that phrase as well. You know, Rahul Gandhi spoke about this lady he met in the slums, where two children told him that one wants to be an IAS officer and the other wants to be a business person. And what was Rahul Gandhi's response to this poor mother? Not happening. And what did the mother say? Well, boss, that's happening. Why? Because that mother can see that man on that white horse coming and providing solution, which Rahul Gandhi obviously can't.
Okay, Veer Sanghvi, is it fair to say that he counted the problems but didn't tell us what the solution to the problems was? As Smriti says, he constantly kept saying, don't look towards me for solutions, for answers.
Well, I thought the speech captured the strengths and the essence of Rahul Gandhi, and also captured the contradictions in his position. Those who would seek to reform India usually fall into two categories: tinkerers and structuralists. The tinkerer has an easy approach. He comes in and he says, I will fix this, I will give the Tatas more land, I'll give the Ruyas more land, I'll give you speedier execution of problems, I will promise these immediate solutions. The structuralist is a much more difficult problem. He says that just tinkering with the existing system won't work. If you make changes, they must be inclusive, you must work from the bottom up, you must change everything. The second message may well be a more profound message, but it's a much more difficult message to get across. And if you're appealing to an electorate, it's a message which says, listen, boss, to use Rahul Gandhi's phrase, nothing is going to change in the next year or so. You're going to have to wait 5 years or 10 years. That's not a very encouraging message for an election speech, but it is in terms of what India needs to be. Surely the
No, but
important
Naveen
one.
Jindal, Rahul Gandhi was speaking to industry honchos at CII. They would have wanted to know what is his economic vision. How will he grow the India story? What will he do? Will it be FDI? Will it be a left of center economic approach? People at the end of it are still very confused. He spoke of entitlements, he spoke of welfare, but what is his economic policy? He didn't outline that. People, even at the end of it, still as confused as they were at the start.
Okay, Rahul, firstly, he never took any pot shots at Mr. Narendra Modi. He was talking about his vision. And all these things, other things that you're talking about, just yesterday, the Honorable Prime Minister, he had addressed all these issues. And he was very, very frank in admitting that, okay, these are the areas where the industry is facing problems, and we are seized with the matter. We have taken so many steps to resolve all these issues. So I think Rahul Gandhi today, he has not come as part of the government. He is not a minister in the government. He had come as vice president of the Congress party, and he was talking about in general terms. And I think his message was very profound, that do not look at just one person to provide all the solutions. And he spoke whatever he felt is right. So, and he did say that the industry, he values the contribution that is made by the industry, and it is very important to grow. The industry has to provide the growth in the country, employment. So, and he said the growth has to be inclusive, the development has to be inclusive. So I think, and all the people, I was there, I was watching his speech, and I was sitting amongst all the industrialists, and I met many dozens of them after that. They all applauded his speech. They all
Because
really,
so far,
so I don't know
Smriti,
what I mean,
the
others are complaining
BJP
about.
and critics of Rahul
mean,
Gandhi
you are very
constantly
happy.
say he never speaks. He doesn't reach out. Now, he's made an opportunity, at least you'll admit, that he's no longer silent. He's gone out. He's even taken questions. He's spoken to people. So that's a good start. You'll at least concede that.
It's good for us that he goes out and speaks. He goes out and speaks on such platform. In fact, I welcome more such events so that the people can understand what we have been saying for years at end with regards to the inability of the Congress leadership to deliver on issues of development.
I want to introduce at this time to
The
this
fact that there
program
is a lack of vision.
Sam Pitroda, advisor to the Prime Minister of India on
fact
public
that there is a lack
information,
of even-
infrastructure and innovations. He works very, very closely with Rahul Gandhi, and we're discussing what Mr. Gandhi said to CII. And the question that's being asked, Mr. Pitroda, most importantly, is that Rahul Gandhi outlined the problems that India faces. Now, it's his government, it's his party that's been in power in this country for the longest time. He explained the failures of the system without explaining adequately the solutions to emerge from these problems. Mr. Sam Pitroda.
I don't think that's the way to look at it. I think the way to look at it is to realize the fact that times have changed. Tools are very different. Aspirations of young have changed substantially. We have come a long way in our journey. And I think the whole speech was more about, now that we are growing at this rate, now that our aspirations have changed, we need to very seriously think about inclusion in a different way. It was one thing to think of inclusion when we were growing at 3%. It is another thing to think of inclusion when we are growing at 8%. So, it all depends on how you look at it. You could look at glass as half empty. You could look at glass as half full. Okay. I thought he outlined his real political agenda. He reached out to industry, asked for their collaboration, cooperation, reassure them that I'm equally interested in business. It is not only about minority and, people at the bottom of the economic pyramid and Dalits and scheduled caste and tribal. It is also about working together with middle class, business people, new technology, all of these things. And I thought it was very well delivered.
Veer Sangvi has a question
equally
for
well
you.
received.
Sir.
Yeah, I just wondered. No, I made a general point. Naveen Jindal says he didn't take pot shots at Modi, and perhaps he didn't. Perhaps when he's talking about the man on the white horse, he's not talking about Narendra Modi. But the point he made, which is that if you say Muslims don't matter, minorities don't matter, but don't worry, I'll help you. What he's really saying is don't accept the quick fixes that people will offer you. Because unless they build an inclusive India, nothing you build will be sustainable. Don't see the problems of industry in isolation. See them in the larger context of India. And I'll give you an example. I won't use Narendra Modi. I'll give you the example of Chandrababu Naidu, who for a long time was the pin-up boy of the CII. And while he was pin-up boy of the CII, getting award after award, farmers kept committing suicide in Andhra Pradesh because their crops were failing and because they were in debt. His lesson, I think, to the extent that the lesson we learned from Chandrababu and from all of these people, the message he was trying to deliver is, of course, people can come on white horses and say, we'll fix this, we'll fix that. But if society does not change, society does not reflect what is really happening, you guys are finished anyway.
But Mr. Sam Pitroda, the critical question that industry and all of India would have wanted answered is, what are his views on economic policy? Will he have a right of center economic stance? Will he have a left of center economic stance? Will he open up the economy further? Does he believe in allowing extra FDI in? That's the question that Adi Godrej, Rahul Bajaj would have wanted answered. That didn't get answered. He didn't even touch upon the most critical issues of trying to revive investor confidence. Indian industry is going and investing abroad. Rahul Gandhi didn't tell them why they should stay invested in the India growth story.
But industry had the opportunity to ask him questions. Industry did not ask him questions on those things. I hope you got your message from there. I think the idea was to open up the dialogue. Idea was to really lay out a broader picture first. And then he gave an opportunity to industry to ask questions. And industry asked questions that they thought were important. And he answered those pretty well, I thought.
Okay, but also some points were made about the manner in which he delivered that speech. The fact that he was constantly reading out from a sheet. People compared that with Narendra Modi and they say that Narendra Modi spoke extempore because he was speaking on the back of the experience that he has as an administrator, whereas Rahul was constantly referring to a speech maybe written by you, written by Jairam Ramesh, written by his own team. We don't know. And at one point he even lost the plot where his sheets got mixed up and he wasn't able to carry on momentarily, thereby raising serious questions about how much of that message is his own and how much of it is prepared text which has been put together for him by others.
It was his speech. I'm sure input came from variety of people, and it is human to lose once in a while a page. Nothing extraordinary about it. And you know, he is a young man. This was his first speech to industry leaders. You know, and I thought he did extremely well. Okay, so it's okay to lose page once in a while. It's okay to read few sentences from written speech. It's perfectly all right. I mean, it's not a debate going on between 10 people. You're not trying to score marks. That's not the purpose of the conversation. It was a genuine conversation from bottom of your heart. It was a conversation which says, look, I'm here, I want to work with you, and this is the beginning of our dialogue.
No, but lots of people said that he's been forced to begin his dialogue because of the manner in which Narendra Modi spoke at the India Today conclave, his speech at SRCC, where he laid out his vision, his agenda, which is why Rahul Gandhi was forced to engage with CII, which he said he wants to do more often but hadn't been doing. It's the pressure being put by Narendra Modi that forced Rahul Gandhi to actually do this first interaction. Why didn't he do it all this while, sir? It's a relevant question.
I don't think so. I do not think so. I think you are wrong. That's not the facts. That's your perception.
I'm asking you a question, sir. Someone who works with him, it's a legitimate question. Why didn't he do it earlier?
Yeah, but
why is he doing it now?
I answered your question.
And was it not important to have done it in the past as well?
Because this was the annual convention of CII.
They do it every year.
CII has annual conventions, so he could have talked last year, he didn't. So he talked this year. What's the problem?
Veer, do you think it's a relevant question? Is it the pressure of Modi that's pushing him?
No, I don't
And
think
his
it's Modi.
team-
I don't think it's Modi who's pushing. I think it's you who's pushing him. It's people like you who keep saying, why doesn't he give interviews? Why doesn't he talk to the media? If this man is going to lead the Congress party in the future,
Absolutely, but-
we need to know where he stands. I think his answer has been, yes, I will tell you where I stand, but I won't come and talk to you journalists. I won't give you interviews. I will make speeches at important platforms.
That's fine.
You will have no choice but to cover my speeches and have discussions like this one, but I won't engage with you. I think that was the message.
No, but that's a reasonable argument. He must speak, and so far he hasn't been speaking, and this is the first time that he's actually gone out. And
I mean, I'm only guessing. My guess is you'll see at least 6-7 more speeches like this.
But that's good.
On important
In a democracy, leaders must come out, shape their arguments, and people must decide which vision they want to buy into. Do you think, Mr. Sam Pitroda, that the message is going out that Rahul Gandhi is a management consultant who's looking and assessing problems, whereas Narendra Modi is a man of action who can get things done? He speaks of tangible steps that he will take to sort the problem out, whereas Rahul Gandhi says he doesn't have solutions to the problems. He admits it publicly and says, don't think I can change things, whereas Modi says, yes, I can go out and make a difference.
I am not here to make judgment on Narendra Modi versus Rahul Gandhi. That's not the way I look at this world. It's your privilege, you know. Just wait, watch and see what happens.
But it's an important
things
question.
unfold as
It's
we
the
go
question
along.
which is being debated tonight
So fine,
all
it's an
across the
important
country.
question.
It's a clash of ideas. You know, you've got one idea being enunciated by Rahul Gandhi, another idea being put out by Narendra Modi, and the people must choose. I'll ask you this direct question. Why is it that the idea put out by Rahul Gandhi, according to you, is more compelling than the idea put out by Narendra Modi?
I don't know the idea put out by Narendra Modi, but I definitely know the idea put out by Rahul Gandhi. It is about inclusion. It is about long-term vision. It's about really creating more opportunities for large number of people. It's about using technology to solve problems of tomorrow. It's about paradigm shift. It's about generational change. It's about solving problems differently than we have solved in the past. That's the way I saw it.
That's an important point you make, and you'll permit me to get a response from Smriti Irani, because Rahul Gandhi's idea is centered around the theme of inclusion, whereas one of the biggest criticism of Narendra Modi is that his idea is highly exclusivist, that it benefits certain sections who get richer much faster at the exclusion of the minority in his area.
Rahul, I know tonight you're compelled to find some flaw with Narendra Modi because Rahul Gandhi's speech was so profound that Twitter right now is trending Pappu. Okay. Now, insofar as the observations which have been put forth on your platform by Mr. Pitroda, I would like to ask 2-3 questions. Firstly, Rahul Gandhi spoke about, developing ports so that dreams can be set sail. Now, the Kandla port in Gujarat takes care of 35% of India's cargo. For the past 2 years consistently, an MP like me has been saying in Rajya Sabha, why don't you provide adequate infrastructure through railways so that this port can be bettered in terms of facility for Indian industry. That plea of mine has been unheard for the past 2 years. You talk about inclusive politics and policy where everybody should work together so that India can be a stronger and more prosperous nation. For the past 1.5 years, Rahul, from Gujarat, we have written to the government of India that we are a power surplus state, and through strengthening the inter-regional transmission corridor, we can ensure that surplus power from our state can be shared with states in the south. Now, this is again a plea which the government of India has totally ignored. So, it's quite easy to come on the CII platform and talk about a half-baked vision or no vision at all and talk about inclusiveness. But like I had said on headlines today, 48 hours ago, that don't judge Rahul Gandhi merely on the basis of the words that come out of his mouth. Judge him on the basis of the action that has taken place.
Does it bother you, Mr. Sam Pitroda, that Pappu CII is what is trending on Twitter? Smriti just made a mention of it. Do you think that is there are more negative mentions than there are positive mentions? Does it demonstrate that they're losing the battle online, or do you think it's just the trolls being put out by Narendra Modi and the BJP that are helping Pappu CII trend? Because it's deeply damaging that on one major social media, Rahul Gandhi's speech is being received so negatively.
Rahul, that's not only an observation by me.
No, it's a
Reuters
fact.
and Wall Street Journal have also made that observation.
It's a
So don't
statement
make
of
it
fact.
a BJP
No,
observation.
it's a statement of fact, but Smriti, the fact also is it's a lot of the BJP people who are pumping out Papu CII and helping it trend. But let me get Sam Pitroda to answer that question. It's an important question. Mr. Pitroda.
So basically you're saying that Rahul Gandhi is such a profound human being that this trend is absolutely false.
I'm saying nothing. I'm asking Mr. Sam Pitroda a question. The negative response online, Mr. Pitroda.
But it's okay to have negative response. There's nothing wrong with it. I think in democracy it's good to have negative and positive response.
No, but there's
I'm
more
not
negative
concerned about
response
it. I
than
think he did
positive
his job.
response. It's his
It's
big
okay.
speech. It's a stump
It's
speech
okay.
of sorts. There's more negative response than positive
It is perfectly
response.
all right. It's perfectly
Rahul,
all
I'd
right.
like to come in here,
It is
please.
perfectly acceptable.
Naveen Jindal wants
Can
to
I
make a
just
point.
buzz off because I
Yes,
have
thank
another
you very
meeting
much,
to
Mr.
go
Sam
to.
Pitroda, for joining us. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time. Naveen Jindal, does it bother you that you got many more negative response than positive response to Rahul Gandhi's speech?
Okay, firstly, Rahul, I do not care much about what is, it could be a lot of it could be sponsored also on the social media. But I was sitting there.
What?
I am an industrialist also. Okay, and I was sitting with hundreds of other people from the industry. I met dozens of them after the speech. They were all really, really happy to hear what Rahul Gandhi had to say. And I think most of the criticism that I just heard, I think it's quite unfair. He spoke from the heart, he spoke very well. You're trying to make out, oh, he lost a page or he read out some things. Obviously, a lot of times we do write the things that we want to say. If we take a thing that we feel is very important, we do write things. But he spoke very well. He spoke most of it extempore. He answered all the questions, and he was very, very candid. He was very, very honest, very, very, straightforward. So I think we have to appreciate all that rather than just criticize for the sake of criticism. I don't blame my friend Smriti Irani for criticizing him. He did not take any pot shots at anybody. He just spoke about his experiences, and finally he did not because Rahul Gandhi is part of the UPA government. So he did not want to repeat the things that the Honorable Prime Minister has already said yesterday, or Mr. Anand Sharma has said, or Mr. Kapil Sibal has said.
Okay.
The ministers in the government and the Prime Minister, they have already covered all those points. So industry is already assured of all those things from the Prime Minister himself.
Okay, Veer
So
Sanghi,
what
should it bother
to
Rahul
come
Gandhi
forward
and
and
his
say
team that Papu
that
CII is trending on Twitter instead of RG CII, which is what the Congress was trying to push? There's a negative spin. A lot of people who are watching saw him make mistake. He fluffed when he lost his page. He said Rani ki Jhansi instead of Jhansi ki Rani.
Personally, I thought he was nervous. I don't think he's used to making speeches like this on these subjects. He was nervous. Fair enough. I mean, human beings get nervous. I get nervous sometimes when I'm on television. You do. I don't think that's a big deal. As for Twitter, he was not tweeting. He was speaking to CII. They loved him. They praised him. They stood up and they applauded. So in terms of the audience he was attempting to reach, it was not people on Twitter. He seems to have succeeded. In terms of his larger message to people like you and me, I think there will always be the problem. There will be Rahul Gandhi's vision that he is a man who says these are solutions that must come from the bottom up versus a messiah type man who comes to the White House and says, I have all the answers. That's his characterization. There will always be the other characterization, which is that Narendra Modi is a CEO. This man is like a graduate student who's only pointing out mistakes. But that's the thing the country will have to decide.
But Smriti, is the BJP nitpicking when you say he missed a
Rahul,
page?
permit-
Just one second. Smriti, is the BJP nitpicking? Obviously, the young man was nervous. You were very nervous when you were speaking at the India Today conclave at the gala dinner and you kept saying that. Similarly, Rahul Gandhi was nervous and it is legitimate to be nervous.
How
There's
many
nothing
times
wrong.
did you see me read out of a paper?
You had sheets of paper which
How
you
many times
had
did
put
you see me
together.
read out
No,
of a
but the
paper
point
at the
that's being
India
made
Today
is larger, Smriti. The point is that it's
How
legitimate to
many-
be
hang
nervous.
on,
He's
Rahul,
spoken
since you make,
in public.
Since you make an aspersion at me.
No, it's
can
not
I-
an aspersion. It's a
since you
statement of
make an
fact.
aspersion at me.
Yes.
How many times did you see me? No, let me finish. How many times did you see me read out of a sheet of paper? People talk about Rahul Gandhi speaking from the heart. He has every right to speak from the heart, or for that matter, from the bottom of his mind. I am of the opinion genuine conversations are never held by one gentleman looking at a sheet of paper. But that is my opinion. What I've been saying for the past 48 hours continuously is this, that don't get swayed merely by words. When you talk about how industry applauds him at the end of a speech, this is the same industry where some stalwarts accompanied Rahul Gandhi to Kashmir to talk about how gainful employment can be given to the youth of Kashmir. My question tonight to you is this: after going and giving Mr. Gandhi the courtesy of accompanying him all the way to Kashmir, how many industrialists have actually opened up industries in Kashmir so that the youth of Kashmir can be gainfully employed?
Okay.
So we know when the industry is actually extending courtesy and when they are actually putting their money on the basis of the word given by a leader.
Sangvi, the fact is that no modern communicator reads from sheets of paper.
You know, Rahul, I think we make too much of this. When Sonia Gandhi fought the first election that the UPA won, she read from pieces of paper, and Bal Thackeray memorably said, she's a reader, not a leader. Vajpayee spoke with this great, brilliant orator that he is. He spoke from the heart. And what happened? She wiped the floor with Vajpayee. So let's not get carried away with
Rahul,
stuff.
Yes, Smriti, make a quick point.
Okay,
Rahul, I have made an absolutely continuous statement for the past 48 hours which is still unaddressed in this entire debate of yours. Mr. Gandhi has every right to articulate what he feels about politics, his own government or the state of the nation right now. My question, as the questions posed by youngsters on social media who you claim are all BJP, is only this, that here is a man who is in a position to deliver solutions. And why is it that such a man tells the people of the country, I can't do anything?
I have one final question for Naveen Jindal before I end this program. Naveen, the question is this.
Don't look at the Prime
There is a
Minister
direct
also.
comparison between Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi. Let there be no doubt about it. Let me ask you as a Congress representative and as an industrialist, why is it that you believe that Rahul's idea is better than Mr. Modi's idea? Sam Pitroda didn't answer that question. Is there an answer at all? Because that's the question that everyone is discussing this evening.
Okay, again, I can't say what all are Mr. Narendra Modi's ideas, but today after hearing Mr. Rahul Gandhi, there were thousands of people in the CII conference and they all gave him a standing ovation. They all applauded.
You keep saying the same thing, not answering the question.
There were lots of discussions after that.
Why is Rahul's idea of India better than Modi's idea of India?
Because it is more realistic. You know, he is not just giving you some magic pill, or he doesn't say that I have a magic wand. He did admit that things are complicated, things are complex, and we have to empower the people, we have to empower the industry, the growth has to be inclusive. So this is the truth. I mean, somebody says can find all the solutions, and he said, you know, I or somebody else alone can't find solutions for.
Whose idea will India buy? Whose idea seems more compelling at this time?
It's so hard to say. Narendra Modi's idea is the problem is governance. I will come in and set that right. That appeals to the haves, to the industrialists, to people like you and me who think things are not working. Rahul Gandhi's idea is the system is failing because it doesn't include enough of the have-nots. That idea will appeal to the have-nots. Will the have-nots win? Will the haves win? We'll have
Smriti Irani, quick, 20 seconds, final points, please.
Can I?
Yes.
No, I think Mr. Sanghvi is, as usual, extremely kind to Rahul Gandhi because for reasons unknown to me. But let me just give you a very small example about how you can bridge the gap between the haves and the have-nots. In Gujarat, we have a program called the Mission Mangalam, where the corporate, where the industry itself, through the help of the government, connects itself to women's self-help group so that they can give employment to women in villages. And today we have managed to reduce migration of labor from villages to cities by 30%. So
Okay, I'll let that be the last word.
Like I said, judge a leader not only by the words, but whether they deliver on the promise of development.
You've heard from Rahul Gandhi, you've heard from Narendra Modi. Whose idea of India is more compelling? At the end of the day, each voter will decide for himself. We don't want to weigh in one way or the other. For the moment, Mr. Sam Pitroda, Naveen Jindal, Smriti Irani and Veer Sanghvi for joining us on the Center Stage Face Off tonight. Thank you very much.